are we doing? I'm doing great because today I'm talking about everything that I watched in the month of April. And actually quite a lot. I actually watch quite a lot, especially shows. Movies, not really. I only have one movie and like a couple of stand-up shows, but I watch a lot of shows and I'm very excited to talk to you about all of them. So let's just get into things. Starting off with the seasons watched this month. Starting off with Welcome to the LA season 1. This I've talked about in the currently watching a couple of times, but it is like one of the, I feel like in Flanders we have a lot of these shows right now where it's like interviewing celebrities on a fun location. This is one of them. It's a spin-off of a podcast as well, and I feel like that's the biggest strength for this one, because you can tell that it's a podcast where they interview people, because these hosts definitely have a lot of experience interviewing people. But like also with all of these shows, kind of I feel like the episode is just as great as you are interested in the guest, if that makes sense. Then we have Exo Kitty season 3, which I give 2 stars to, sadly enough. I feel like every season I like the show less and less, and this season was a bit of a mess. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely felt like they ran out of story ideas. They didn't know how to fill things up, so they just created drama for drama's sake and didn't really care about like if it makes sense for a character, or it's like good characterization, good writing. But like I still binged it in one go, so I can't say I hated it. Then next I watched Marvel's Jessica Jones season 2, which I give 5 stars to. I'm making my way through all of the Frienders shows, but I'm not liking them as much, so it's going very slowly, and I took a break from it for a little while because I felt a bit burned out by it, and I'm very glad I did, because I feel like I'm just watching things with like a much deeper appreciation. Jessica Jones already was my favorite of the shows, and the second season I also really liked. I liked it less than the first season, just because the first season had a killer villain. So good. It was a little bit less this season, and I do also think all of these shows suffer from the fact that it's 13-hour-long episodes, like 13 episodes that are each an hour long, and it's just a little bit too much for what they're all trying to do, so it always feels a little bit dragged out. This season was fun. I really like these characters, and I really liked that this season wasn't afraid to make all of them hit rock fucking bottom, and it looked very differently for all of them, but it wasn't pretty for either of them. Then we have Community season 3. This one I wasn't as big of a fan of. I've never really been a huge Comedy fan, but now the last couple of seasons I've been doing it with celebrities, and I always think that's fun. I don't know why. And in previous seasons they always had each week themed a little bit for like the groupings. This season they got rid of that, and I wasn't a big fan of it because it made the grouping just feel very random, and I think there's only one week where it worked, where all 4 of them clicked, and it generally was like, oh, these are unexpected matches, but these are people that generally like vibe together, they're fun to watch together. Then we have Ik Vraag Het Aan season 3. This is a song request show, basically. People request a song, tell like a deep story behind it, the reason they picked that song, and then an artist comes performs it for them. And also this is a great show to like show the power of music in people's lives. I feel like we have a lot of shows that focus on like the love for music from like a musician's perspective or from like a singer's perspective. I think what's great about the show is that it just shows how for everyone it's a big part of their lives. Then we have Geen Paniek season 1. This was a really fun show, but also really heart-wrenching show. Like it's very deeply human. It basically is comedian Philippe Geubels basically being like a coach to people with phobias and trying to like help them not necessarily overcome their fears, but like learn to live with it a bit more through exposure therapy. And I think it is very human about it and very just like beautiful about it, and you really find yourself rooting for these people, because yeah, this is a very long trajectory that they all went through with like very different steps and such, and there was just something, you just feel so proud of them for accomplishing these things, even though you don't know these people, but just because you've seen their journey, and I think that was really well done. And then Philippe Geubels is a great comedian, and he knows how to balance being funny and having like that comedic brevity while also like not undermining the seriousness of the topic, if that makes sense. So it's a great watch, highly recommend. Then we have Rises Beyond Waverly Place season 2, which I gave 3 stars to, which pains me to my soul, because if you don't know, I'm a huge Rises of Waverly Place fan. It was like my favorite show growing up. I still am in love with Selena Gomez, and I still want to be Alex Russo. So when first they announced a reboot, I was excited but also nervous, because like you never know how that goes. But the first season I thought was such a delight, and I still think this is a great reboot of the original, but this season was just way too short. They tried way too much and way too little episodes. They had like half the amount of episodes as the first season did, and you can tell. Anyway, let's move on to His and Hers, which is a limited series that I give 2 to 5 stars to. This is a show that originally I was very excited about, then I read the book and I was like, oh no, because I didn't like the book. And I will say, I like this more than the book. I generally think it does a better job at making the main characters suspicious, because that's kind of the whole point of it. I feel like the book did such a poor job at it. I feel like the show did a much better job, but I also think these characters felt more engaging and the storyline just felt a bit tighter, neater, and I just was very compelled to keep watching the entire time. I do think it was a little bit rushed. We do fly over a couple of deaths like it didn't happen at all, and we move very quickly. And then main reason why I didn't like the book is that I hated the ending so much. I feel like the reveal is so stupid, and they kept the same reveal and somehow made it worse. Then next we have The Artful Dodger season 2, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars to, of course. This came out in February, but I've been like slowly dragging it out because I didn't want this to end, and now I generally feel like I fall into a black hole now that it's done. I love the show so much. This season, vibe-wise, is very different from the first one, but still so good. I do have to say that I didn't really care that much for the new characters introduced, and like the whole serial killer storyline was not that interesting, but everything that focused on our main guys from the first season I loved. Fanny this season, love her so much. And then Dodger and Belle, like, oh my god, they have my heart. Every second they're on screen, I'm like crying, I'm clutching my heart. I love them so much. Then we have Winning Point season 2, which I give 5 stars to. This is also came out in April, and I watched in one go. I had a lot of fun with this. I think this is a really fun show. I always just have a good time with it. Again, I think this is one that suffers from like the 10 episode seasons that we get lately. Especially, here's the thing, a comedy show like this should not be 10 episodes of like half an hour long. That's way too short. And just either make the episodes like 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes, or just add a couple of episodes, like not even that many. I feel like with 15 episodes you already have a banner. But god, Netflix, please, you have a good show on your hands. I'd just give it a little bit more room to ruminate, you know. And then lastly, for these seasons I watched this month, we have White Girl season 1, which I give 45 stars to. This is a kid show. I have no business watching this, but I love Studio 100, as you might know, and I love the music from White Girl. One of their songs made it into my best of last year. I don't know, they're all bangers. I don't make the rules. So I was talking about this with my mom, and I was like, it's kind of strange that I know all of their songs by heart, but I haven't seen a single episode of the show. And I was like, why don't we just watch it? So we watched it, and we finished the first season in April, and this is so much fun. Honestly, kids these days are being waste wide. This is the content they're watching. It's so much fun, and I don't know, I think it's a blast. The characters are really great. It's legitimately funny sometimes. Like, I chuckled quite a few times, and it's really a good time. My only complaint for this is that the music is very poorly integrated into the show. I feel like that could be done just a tad bit better. And then let's go into what I'm currently watching. It's an extremely long list, so I'm gonna try and keep it brief. But first on the list is Marvel's Luke Cage season 2. Like I said, making my way through the Defenders universe. I'm actually really liking this season. I think it's much better than the first season of Luke Cage, which I thought was a bit boring, but this one I'm quite liking, so I'm almost done with it. So that can be on the list for me. You have FCD Computer season 13, which is a rewatch. This is a banner of a season, and generally banner after banner after banner these episodes so far. Then we have Florentina season 1. I do have to say they are doing some interesting stuff right now that I'm curious to see where they're gonna lead, but I'm still a bit whelmed by this. Then we have Bone season 1. My problem with this show is that I like the characters, I don't love the mystery. So I don't know how to feel about it actually. Then we have The Mole season 15. Adore this season. Don't have a suspect though. I find it really hard this season. I feel like everyone is equally suspicious, so let me know your mole in the comments because I want to know. Then we have Café de Mole season 8. This is a talkback show. It's a byproduct of my favorite show of all time, so of course I'm also going to watch it each time. Then we have Eenmaal Andermaal season 4. I always think this is fun. They had some good guests so far this season, and I don't know, I always think it's a blast to watch. I'm really glad that it's back. Then we have The Floor season 2. I don't know what it is about this show because it's so simple, but it's also such a good time. So then we have Taskmaster series 21. This cast, such a vibe. Oh my god, I'm loving them so much. Celebrity MasterChef Vlaanderen season 4. They're doing a lot of different twists this season that I think are really fun. Then we have Das in Beelden season 1. I always love an archive show. And this one is fun. I just wish they sometimes like would play things in full instead of like doing compilations, if that makes sense. Then we have Ze Zeggen Dat season 6. They've tested some fun stuff this season, but like nothing like too special yet. Then we have Brieven aan Samson season 1. A perfect show if you want to be emo. And I actually think Victor is doing a great job hosting it. This isn't like a typical vibe, but I do think he's like the perfect host for it actually. We have White Girl season 2. Probably even better than season 1. Also close to the ending of this one, and I'm very excited to kind of see what's gonna happen still. Yeah, I went through that very quickly. I'm very proud of myself because like I said, it's a very long list. I saw this list and I was so intimidated by it. I do feel like I have to be better at like rapid speeding my currently watching. I feel like I always I always end up like having a really long chat about like one show at least, and I'm like, keep this for when we're done, you know. And let's get into the movies that I watched this month. Like I said, it's only one movie and 3 stand-up shows, so this should also go relatively quickly because I never know what to say about stand-up, you know. But yeah, first thing I watched is Yada Minches Bedankt in Tacoma, which came out in 2024. This was really fun. It's very Yada, which feels a bit weird to say, but I feel like it's very her. Like her personality is all over it, and it's great, and it's funny. And we have Roommates, which came in 2026, and I gave 3 stars to. It's the one movie that I watched, and I honestly thought this was a show, so I was like ready to watch it, and then I saw it was a movie and I was like, oh shit, but I still watched it, and I had a good enough time. I feel like they should have committed to being kind of like a psychological thriller horror towards the end, like turning into that from a comedy to that, because I feel like that would have been a really fun twist. I didn't love the way it was narrated by like an outside character. I thought those parts were a little bit stupid, but I do think this was a really fun movie. Then we have Sarah Millican, Late Bloomer Life, which came out in 2025. I've seen a lot of Sarah Millican clips before. I've never seen a full show, and this just got added to Netflix where I live, so I decided to watch it. She was also one of my favorite contestants on Taskmaster. Loved her passage through it, but this was a really funny watch, like honestly very delightful watch, and I laughed quite a lot. And then lastly we have Wat kan het zo moeten uit afspreken, which came out in 2022, and this was a rewatch. And this is also a show that I've seen live. It's actually one of the first stand-up shows that I've ever seen live. It's also still the best stand-up show I've seen live. Like, oh my god, I always laugh my ass off. The second time watching the recording of it though, hence why it's a rewatch, and still an absolute banner. I think this is so funny, especially like the last bit in the show, which he basically does like popular songs through a different POV. I think that's still one of the best bits I've ever seen, and it's so funny. Like, it doesn't become less funny the more I watch it, which is also always great. So I'm very glad I got to rewatch it yet again. And yeah, that's everything for April. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of any of these shows and movies. May have some great releases on the lineup as well, and there's a couple of ones that I'm very excited for. So I'm sure next month's video is also going to be great, and because I'm also in the middle of a lot of shows I'm really excited for, you know. Yeah, I guess I'll see you then. Bye!